Shalom, everybody, and welcome to Beginning Hebrew. This is week number 8, our last week. We have gone through the entire alphabet and all of the vowel sounds, so today we're going to go through some review. The notes for this class can be found at theregathering.com/page/PFT-Hebrew1. That's the notes for this class, and every past class can be found there. You do have to have an account at theregathering.com in order to access those. Past classes, recordings of them can be found on YouTube on the Passion for Truth video channel. Just go to that, and these classes are under, I believe, Hebrew class with Mark Jacob. And of course, there's all kinds of other great resources from PFT on there, so I encourage you to check that out. All right, as I mentioned, we are at the end. So here's our entire Hebrew alphabet from beginning to end. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pei, Tzadi, Kuf, Resh, Shin, and Tav. And of course, there are 3 letters that make a different sound when they have a dagesh: the Beit, the Kaf, and the Pei. And there are 5 letters that take on a different form when they are found at the end of a word, and those are the Kaf. Okay, so this is a final Chaf, the Mem, the Nun, the Pei, which is always a final Fe, and the Tzadi. And the Shin is 2 letters in one. With the dot above on the right side, it is a Shin. The dot above on the left side, it is a Sin. Okay, so those are our letters. And now on to our vowels. We've covered the comets, which makes the short A sound, ah, as in father. The patach, which makes the same sound, ah. Segol makes eh. Tzera is a long A. A. Hello, hello. The chirik is the short I. Hello. The shva makes no sound. The kibbutz is a short U, as in put. Cholam, either written defective or full with a vav. Both make a long O. Shuruk is a long U. The chataf vowels, comets, patach, and segol with a shva next to them all make the same sound as their parent vowels, the comets, the patach, or the segol. Chirik followed by a yod is long E, and then a patach at the end of a word, when it's under a chet or an ayin, is pronounced before the letter that it comes under. And I have, I think you guys got those last week, so you have last week's notes. So just reviewing the alphabet. So any questions about the alphabet or any of the vowel sounds? Yes, the ayin with the yes, the ayin is that kind of ng sort of sound. Right, the shva is just the absence of a vowel sound. At this point, there are rules for when it's slightly pronounced and when it's not pronounced at all, but it's a subtle difference. So yes, for our purposes right now, the shva is just the absence of another vowel. Okay. Everything clear with the, of course, the dagesh in 3 different letters changes the sound of those letters. You'll find the dagesh in many, many letters. You can find a dagesh in, but it only changes the sound in 3. Okay, the beit, the kaf, and the pei. And of course, if you find a kaf, a mem, a nun, a pei, or a tzadi at the end of a word, it will be written in its final form. Okay? So any questions come to mind? Okay, well, good. Good. Okay, well, since we've gone through all the letters now and all the vowels, we're going to start constructing words. And a lot of these are words we've already gone through, but I want to go through them, get you more familiar with them, and kind of get the hang of, just get comfortable with pronouncing words when you find them. Okay? Okay. So going back to our very first word, which was av, aleph, the Kometz vowel, followed by a bait with no dagish. You can call it either one. You can call it a bait or a vait. But, and of course, Hebrew always goes right to left, and since the vowels are typically written underneath the letters, the order of pronunciation usually goes down, and then right, and then down, and then right. Left, rather. Okay, so the aleph is pronounced first, but of course the aleph is silent. So then the Kometz, the av, the Kometz is pronounced, and then leftward to the bait with no dagish. So ah, and then v, av. Okay. So it's a little, when I learned to read, I didn't learn phonics. I always remembered words as whole units. Yeah, which is easy to do when you're a kid. So it was an adjustment for me to learn how to sound out Hebrew words because I wasn't used to thinking about things in, okay, pronounce the B and then pronounce the E, and then, I thought of them as chunks, words as just chunks of things, which is why I would mispronounce a lot of things as a kid. Because I'd see two chunks that looked similar and I'd pronounce them the same when they're pronounced completely differently. But anyway, you do have to think in phonetic terms when you're learning Hebrew from another language, of course, because there's nothing familiar about this to an English-speaking person. Okay? So a lot of the words I introduced at first were just one-syllable words. That's first off because they're easy, and second off because a lot of one-syllable words are the most practical words you need. So it's kind of convenient that way. So an aleph with a tzera vowel beneath it, followed by a final mem. Aim, right? Aleph silent, the A of the tzera, the M of the final mem, so aim. Av is father, and aim is mother. And just a side note, you will also hear Abba and Ima. And these are, there are two things that these are. Number one, they're Aramaic. Number two, even in Hebrew, they're sort of pet names, as it were. Okay, so Abba would be like daddy, and Ima would be like mommy. Okay, whereas Av and Aim are a little more formal, father and mother. So we've got av, aim. All right, a bait with a dagesh. A tsera beneath the bait, followed by a final nun. Okay, so we've got the B of the bait, the A of the tsera, which is frequently transliterated as an E. Okay, but you could, if you wish to really sound it out, do AY, followed by the N of the nun, Bain. Okay, Bain is the pronunciation of this word, and Bain is a son. S-O-N. Okay. A bait with a dagesh, the patach underneath, followed by a tav. Okay, we've got the b of the bait, the a of the patach, and the t of the tav, so that's bat, bat, and bat is a daughter. Okay, so av, aim, bain, and bat. Father, mother, son, and daughter. Okay, then an aleph with a kametz, followed by a chet. Aleph is silent, kametz makes the a, chet is ch, so ach. Right? This is not Scottish, this is Hebrew. And ach is a brother. And its feminine counterpart, aleph, the kametz beneath it, followed by a chet, followed by a vav with a cholam, followed by a tav. Okay? So the same beginning, ach. Vav with the cholam makes a long O sound. And then the t of the tav, so achot. Achot is a sister. Mm-hmm.
So it's this weird, the female gender, I'm trying to remember the...
Yeah, this ot ending is normally the plural feminine ending. You would expect sister to be acha, finish with a kametz he, to make it feminine. But in this case, it doesn't. It's achot, and it's just one sister. It's not two. Achotot is actually the plural. You add another ot at the end. Yep. Yeah, the word just so happens to be spelled cholam tav. And there are other words that just happen to be spelled with the yod mem at the end, but they're not plural either. Like mayim, which means water. Now it can be plural, depending on the context, but a lot of times it just means, just means water. So, yeah, there aren't many words that have that ending without being plural, but achot is one of them. It does mean sister. Okay. Another one, just to extend the relations out a little bit. This is a dalet, followed by a vav with a cholam, followed by another dalet. So dalet makes D, cholam is long O, and another D, dod. Dod. And dod is an uncle. Dod can also mean beloved. The feminine form I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. From the Song of Solomon, I believe. Ah, nice. All right, the feminine form just adds a comet's hey to the end. So adds an ah to the end. Of course, the hey is silent at the end of a word. So do-da is an ant. It can also be beloved, feminine. Okay, but dode and do-da are uncle and aunt. So you've probably noticed a theme to these words by this point. And that theme is a word of many more syllables. Okay. So, mem, followed by a chirik, shin, with a shva, pei with a dagish, and a komets, chet, the komets, and hey at the end. Okay? So, yeah, just duck. Okay? So we've got the ma of the mem, short I of the chirik, so mi. Shin is sh. Okay, the shva makes no sound, so we've got mish. Pei with the dagish is p, or pa. Mish pa. Chet is ch, and ah after that. So mishpacha. Mishpacha. That is a family. Okay?
Thanks for that little light bulb.
And just a side note on family. Well, I mean, we think of our family as including the grandparents and the uncles and the cousins and that, but we make a pretty good distinction between immediate family and extended family. The Hebrew Bible doesn't really do that. When it says mishpacha, it usually means like everyone we'd say everybody with the same last name would be a mishpacha. Okay? So families are big. Not just that there were a lot of kids in one family, but, Right. People didn't move real far away from each other, typically.
Same last name.
Right.
You have a sister. She's going to take on somebody else.
Sure, she would become a part of a different family. Right. Just like Sarah is part of Abraham's family. Yeah, she's not considered part of... Well, I mean, they sort of are, though.
Question, there's one particular scripture that Paul writes about taking care of your, the group, and then taking care of, especially taking care of your family.
Okay.
So, I was wondering, as far as Leo Louis Santa Mishmakat here, is there a bigger word for the group?
I don't know.
Or like
I don't know. I'm just... I really don't know.
All one big family in his name.
Right. I mean, right. Yeah. I'm just pointing out that you'll see... well, I mean, it's pretty obvious when you read it anyway, but you'll see, in Genesis, it'll say they split by their families and their languages. By their families doesn't mean like just 3 people were going off somewhere. It's a big chunk of people that constitutes a mishpacha. Okay, but the way our culture works now is that mishpacha is pretty much a husband and wife and their kids until their kids move out. So.
I mean, that in our culture, but does that mean that's still in Israel?
Israel's a pretty modern place today. So, I mean, I'm sure I really don't know a whole lot about Israeli culture other than just what I hear in the news.
In
And
Yeshua's time,
yeah, right. Before automobiles, people tended to stay pretty close together, except in this country where everyone wanted to move further west all the time. But right, yeah, seek the gold or just
get away from
get away from the cities. But anyway, so these are all family words. All right, and that kind of constitutes the first sheet. Okay. The next sheet, I have what I call practical words. And these are all words you'll find in the scriptures, but these are words that you'll probably use every day, or you could. Okay, so an aleph with a chirik, followed by a yod, and then a sheen. Okay, aleph makes no sound. Chirik followed by yod makes long E, and then the sheen is sh, so ish. Ish is the pronunciation here. Ish is a man. Okay. Aleph with a chirik followed by a sheen. Sheen does have a dagish, but that doesn't change the pronunciation. Comments beneath that, followed by a hey. This is isha, isha, or you'll hear isha too. You also hear isha, yeah, or isha. If you pronounce it as a short I, it's isha, isha. You won't really confuse it with any other word, regardless of which way you pronounce that. But people have caught me on that before because I tend to slip and say isha, and they say, well, wait, doesn't the chirik only make a short I if it doesn't have a yod after it? Yes, that's right. So I want to make sure I point that out. But if you say isha or someone else says isha, they're still talking about the same word, which is woman. Yes, she was called Isha because she was taken from Ish in Genesis 2. Yeah, it's kind of funny that English has maintained that same wordplay, in essence. Okay, she's called woman because she's taken from man. Okay, the two words are obviously linguistically similar.
Shah
So,
have something to do with woman.
not that I know of.
Ah, is a feminine name.
Ah is the feminine ending, right? Okay, so that's man and woman. A good practical word here is a tav, vav with a cholam, dalet, the comets, and a hey at the end. So tav is ta, o of the cholam, da of the dalet, and a of the comets. So toda. Toda. Toda, as a noun, means thanksgiving. Not the American holiday, but the act thereof. But this can also be used to mean thank you. Say toda to mean thank you. All right, an aleph, followed by a vav with a cholam, followed by a resh. How would we pronounce this? Or. Yes, or. Aleph is silent, o of the cholam, ra of the resh. So or. Or is light. Okay? Okay, how about a yod, followed by a vav with a cholam, followed by a final mem. Remember, yod is y, Y sound. Yom, yes, indeed. Yom means day. And Yom is part of many, many phrases that you will hear, such as Yom Kippur, okay, Day of Atonement. Yom Tov, it's an expression that means good day. Yom Teruah, Day of Blowing, or Day of Trumpets. Okay, first day of the 7th month is called Yom Teruah. And actually, Yom Kippur is a misnomer. The actual Hebrew term for that is Yom HaKippurim, which means Day of the Atonements. For some reason, in the vernacular, it's shortened to Yom Kippur, which just means Day of Atonement. But the actual name of the day is Atonements because there are multiple atonements that are made on that day. Because it's first made for the priest, and then for the tabernacle, and then for the entire congregation. Okay. HaKippurim, yes. Yep, if you look up in Leviticus 16, I don't know if Leviticus 16 even calls it that, but Leviticus 23 certainly does. Calls it the Day of Atonements. Not that there's anything wrong with saying Yom Kippur, but just thought I'd point that out. Yeah, it's just not the exact term that's used in the scriptures. Okay.
It's like the word, it's not last time, the word hasatan, which means the office.
The office?
The title of position, even though it means the adversary, like.
Oh, right.
It can mean, sometimes it means, we think it's just Satan, but it also means several demons or the office of his position.
Yeah, the term Satan in Hebrew is not a proper name. Yeah, I mean, Satan on its own means an adversary. Ha-Satan means the adversary. A lot of times, Ha-Satan is used on its own, just kind of a standalone, like the adversary did this, that, or the other thing. In that case, it's pretty clear it's talking about a specific thing. It's not just, could be anybody. They're kind of honing in on a specific idea. But when it's not used like that, it does actually frequently refer to people. So, however, not in every case. It's pretty clear in some cases that it's not referring to a person. So.
I mean, when you said as far as the atonement, then I was just thinking, we think of sin can be overall one big global thing, but then it could be a multiple, like you said, atonement or atonements.
Mm-hmm.
Disobedient or disobedience, regardless, it's.
Right. Yeah, well, it's the term Kippur, okay, which means to atone. The root of that means to cover over. And so even the covering of the ark, what we call the mercy seat, is called a kaporet, okay, literally a covering. Okay, it's just something that covers on top of. So, yeah, by being atonements, it's not, it's covering multiple things, is kind of the idea. Covering the priest, covering the tabernacle, and then covering the entire assembly. So, and of course, that's just a raw, literal interpretation of atonement. It goes deeper than that. But just on on the technical difference between one atonement and multiple atonements, that's kind of the idea. Okay. So we've got or, which is light, yom, which is day. Another light-themed word is bait, cholam vowel, kuf, with a segol, and then resh. Okay. So bait is ba, cholam is O, so we've got bo. Kuf can be transliterated as K or Q, but makes the K sound regardless. Of the segel and R of the resh, so boker. Or actually, the emphasis is on the first syllable, so it is boker. Boker. And boker is morning. Okay, so Yom Tov meant good day, Boker Tov means good morning. Okay. And then morning's counterpart, ayin with a segel, resh with another segel, and then a beit with no dagesh. So the ayin is or silent, however you wish to do so. The of the segel, so resh is ra, and beit with no dagesh is a v. So garev, or erev. That is evening. Excuse me. Pardon me. So boker is morning, and erev is evening. And you'll see those two used together quite a bit. Yeah, I have some. Something's caught in there. Pardon me for just a moment. All right. And then the adjective I've been using with all of these, tov, is spelled tate. Cholam, vav with cholam, and then a beit with no dagesh. Okay, so tov. Tov means good. So the phrase you'll find in Genesis 1, it was evening and it was morning, first day, second day, third day, etc. Okay, that's erev, followed by boker, composing a yom. Okay. So are there any questions about, does the order of pronunciation of these things make sense? Is there anything that's not flowing? Okay. Yep. And the more you practice with these things, the quicker it comes to you. Okay. You know, at first seeing all the little dots and, okay, that's 2 dots or that's 3 dots or, you know, it gets a little, by the time you incorporate all the vowels, you actually have basically more letters than English, although there are fewer actual consonants.
Dots above and dots below are the same?
No. Vowel sounds, most vowel sounds will be found below, with the exception of the cholam. Yeah, the single dot above will be a long O. Single dot beneath will be a short I. But that's the one exception. The rest of the vowels you will find below the letters. Well, the rest of them, except for the shuruk, which is always with a vav.
The O is always on the top part, and the other
Right. The cholam will be above. All the other vowels will be beneath, and the shuruk is always part of a vav. Okay, that oo sound is always accompanies a vav.
So when you showed the arrows of how you pronounce.
Right. The cholam, of course, then you'd have to move up, but in general you'll move down. But yeah,
So it's down, across, down.
right. Except with the cholam.
Kind of going down and then up at an angle to the next one.
Right.
So if you did that, there's no vowel point beneath it, but when you go up, the first thing you're running into is the vowel.
Right. You're really reading. Yeah, you're really reading right to left. So you've got the B of the bait here, and as you so you go down and there's nothing down here, but as you continue to the left, technically the way you're supposed to write it is that you would encounter the cholam first. It's between the bait and the kuf. So yeah, the cholam's the only thing where you'll get kind of tripped up if you're just kind of doing your little zigzag pattern, but a lot of times the cholam appears with a vav and it's no problem anyway. You just go right into it with the letter. But
With the shin,
I was gonna say this, you said at the beginning of the word, for the most part, don't pull out the dot that's on the top.
the first syllable. Yeah, actually, come to think of it, it is a lot of times on the first syllable, but it could be anywhere. So
you have to watch the shin,
yes.
whether it's a kolam or a dagesh.
Right. The sheen, yeah. Their method of differentiating between sheen and seen is a little unfortunate on that end. It's still clear, but yeah, you can have a cholam right before it.
The way I show them, sometimes they use the same dot for both purposes.
They will indeed. Yeah, and that's
Okay, that might be something that we need to like go, okay, good. Rewind.
okay. Yeah, you will find that on occasion that they will use the same dot for multiple purposes. You're not supposed to. Okay, you're supposed to have a different dot for every function.
So
Okay.
the dot can represent the sheen and it can also represent the O.
There are you will find people you'll find people do that. Right. Yeah, Moshe is a good example. So just to show what they're talking about here. Okay, so in the name Moses, which in Hebrew is Moshe. Okay, mem, cholam vowel, followed by a sheen. And then segel, and then a hey. Okay, so Moshe. Now I would write this like this. Okay, so you know that this is a sheen, and this dot's a cholam. Okay? However, yes, you will find, on occasion, people write things like this, where it appears that the mem has no vowel, or that the sheen is pronounced some bizarre third way. But this isn't the case. Okay, they're just combining the two into one.
It's a way of seeing it in the handwritten scroll.
Right. Yeah, and I think most modern scripts will.
If there's any, it's not even a dagesh, so it's just the vowels, just the consonants.
Okay,
So it was in
right,
the interpretation in the Bible, where it's got the vowel points.
right,
Then it would have just the one.
right. Yeah, if you were lacking all the vowel points, you would still see the dot differentiating the sheen from the seen. But anyway, yeah, this is how, if you're including the vowels, this is how you should write this. Okay, you should have your cholam, and then you should have your dot over the sheen, telling you that it's a sheen. Now, even when you do that, you can come across, this is not a word or a name, but if someone was named Moseh instead of Moshe, okay, you could see this. And this dot's kind of halfway in between. So you kind of have to do a double take on this. And you go, okay, there's a dot over the right and a dot over the left. Now, which one is a cholam and which one's telling me which letter this is? Okay, so that is...
And it's not going to the next letter.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to... right. Yeah. You kind of have to, say, okay, well, I know this is this way for sure. So you've got a vowel underneath. You know it can't be a vowel afterwards as well. Okay, you know that much. If you don't have a vowel underneath, then probably a vowel at the end. So, you just kind of have to piece it together. You won't have two vowels in a row. So knowing that much, you can kind of get it from there. The number of words in which this happens is pretty narrow range. Moshe is one of them. And, of course, that's one you'll run into in the Torah all the time. But...
Will it be more on the names of...
I wouldn't say so, no. Moshe is just a really, really common name. So, but anyway, so yeah, you will encounter that. And yes, the cholam is sort of an exception to going down. You're just going straight over to the left with the cholam. But in general, the reason I point out going down is so that you know that when you've got a vowel underneath a letter, pronounce the letter first, then pronounce the vowel. Letter first, then vowel. Letter first, then vowel. Okay? Any other questions?
The other S-sounding letter, did they ever use that?
The samech? Yes, they do indeed. In fact, you'll probably find, you'll find more words, a greater variety of words that use a samech than use a sin. However, actually, I'll go ahead and give you a word. This is a great word to know, especially when you get into grammar, because it's a great word to attach prefixes and suffixes to. So this is samech, followed by a shuruk. Okay, that's a vav with a shuruk vowel, and another samech at the end. Okay, so sus is the pronunciation of this. Sus is a horse. And when we get into grammar, the reason that this is such a great word to use is because a lot of times when you'll add prefixes and suffixes to words, the vowels inside the word will change, which really throws people for a loop because, well, why does it do that? Why does it do that? Sus doesn't. Sus is always sus, no matter what you add on to it. So it's a great word to know for later on in grammar. And of course, horse could be practical, word to know, but we don't typically encounter horses every day, so. At least I don't. Okay, so yes, come to think of it, I don't think I had any words on there that incorporate a samech, but this has two, so, and there are many, many more. But yes, and actually you'll find sometimes that words can have two different spellings, one with a samech and one with a sin, and it's the same word. So that does happen on occasion. It's actually fairly rare, but it does happen. So, but yeah, sus is a horse. Yeah, I did kind of underrepresent the samech in our vocabulary. So, okay. Any other questions? I know I'm covering a lot of words, but I want to write them up here, have you sound them out, and then I say them, and you just get real used to that pattern. Boker? Morning was boker. It's beit, kuf, resh. Starts with a B sound, yes. Right, with the dagish makes the b instead of the va. Okay. So yeah, I've gone through family words and practical words, although they're all practical words. And then this set I kind of call these Torah words. Okay, so these aren't words that you'd necessarily use every day, but you would use them pretty much every time you read the Torah or anytime you read the scriptures. Okay, so this is a mem with a chirik, tzadi with a shva, a vav with a comets underneath it, and a hey at the end. Okay. So mem, ma, followed by a chirik is I. Tzadi is the same sound as in pizza. Okay, so mitz, and we've got no vowel here. So mitz and then a stop. For once we have a vav that's actually pronounced and not part of a vowel, so it makes a V sound, followed by the ah of the comments, and the hey is silent at the end. So mitzvah, mitzvah. Okay, and mitzvah is a commandment. Okay, mitzvah, commandment. All right, then a tav, followed by a vav with a cholam, followed by a resh with a comets and a hey at the end. Okay, so we've got a T sound, O, ra, and ah, so Torah, Torah.
Is it common to hear that called cholam vav?
Yeah. Yeah, you can hear it called a cholam vav. Or a full cholam. You'll hear it called sometimes.
As opposed to a partial?
Yeah, they call, without the vav, they actually call it a defective cholam. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but just because something's missing. Something being the vav. So, yes, so Torah is the Torah, the Pentateuch, okay, 5 books of Moses. But at its base, it actually means a law or code. Really what Torah is a collection of mitzvah, collection of mitzvot, collection of commandments.
Teaching?
Teaching would be another way of putting it, yeah. Teaching, instruction. But you'll find certain parts of Scripture called the Torah of X, Y, or Z. And so it'll be a whole section that's called the Torah of this. And within that section will be a number of mitzvot, a number of commandments. Okay, so a mitzvah is an individual commandment, and a Torah is like a collection of them. Okay, so the Torah of Moses is all the commandments that were given through Moses, otherwise known as the first 5 books. Okay, so mitzvah, Torah, and a tzadi with a shva underneath, followed by a dalet with a comets, a kuf, again with the comets, and a hey at the end. Okay, so we've got the ts of the tzadi, no vowel sound, the d of the dalet, and then ah, so tzda. Kuf is ka, and an ah at the end. So tzedakah, tzedakah. Yes, tzedakah is righteousness. Now, righteousness is another way to translate this would be justice. Another way to translate this would be innocence. Charity is the way that tzedakah is frequently used by Jews today. However, in context of where tzedakah is used in the scriptures, charity frequently will not fit as a translation. The reason that they call charity tzedakah is because they're saying that charitable acts are righteous. And because some charitable acts are commanded by the Torah, and in Deuteronomy 6 it mentions that to keep these commandments will be your tzedakah, your righteousness. Okay, so by calling charity tzedakah, basically it's basically a way of putting a lot of emphasis on doing good for others. Okay, saying that that's very important. So they're kind of, but tzedakah on its own doesn't necessarily mean doing good for others. It mainly means that you didn't do bad to others. It means that you are innocent, so that if you were prosecuted in court, you would be found innocent. You'd be found righteous. Okay. So that is mitzvah, Torah, and tzedakah. Okay. Commandment, law, and righteousness. And I'm going to cut it a little bit short. So I won't go through every single word on that list, but I do want to cover two more for sure. That'll be the next class, actually. So, okay. So a yod with a chirik followed by a sin. Okay, dot is on the left side, so this is a sin. Sheva underneath. So we've got yis so far. Yis. Okay. A resh. The comments. Aleph with the tzera. And a lamed at the end. So yis, ra, aleph is silent, go right into the vowel, el, Yisrael. What we know in English as Israel. Okay, the name that Jacob's name was changed to, name of the modern day country, name of the ancient nation. Okay, Yisrael. Talking about the meanings of the two names?
Like Jacob, but like how would it be spelled?
Oh, how would Jacob be spelled in Hebrew? Jacob is, I'm going to get the vowels wrong, but this is going to be pronounced right. Because I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure if these two vowels are patachs or kometzes or hataf patachs or what they are, but it makes the right sound regardless. This is how Jacob is spelled in Hebrew. Again, the first two vowels are uncertain. I think it's actually like that, but don't quote me on that. But anyway, regardless, it's pronounced Yaakov. Yaakov. And so yeah, there's not much correlation between the two names, and the meanings don't have. The meanings are sort of correlated. Yaakov means the one who grabs the heel. Okay, the one who, and Yisrael means wrestles with God. So there's a lot of commentary on why that changed one to the other, but anyway, I do want to. Are there any other questions about pronunciation? Okay. I do want to go ahead and mention before I'm out of time, this is the final class for beginning Hebrew. So we've gone through all the letters and vowels. Next week at this time, we'll be doing intermediate Hebrew. And at 3 o'clock will be the advanced Hebrew. Okay. So if this is the first time you're seeing a Hebrew class, go on YouTube. You can find all the past classes, all the notes, at the Passion for Truth video channel. Okay, so hopefully you're pretty confident with the letters and the vowels. Just practice makes perfect with that, because you'll be kind of using those, real commonly in the intermediate. So, any other questions? All right. Well, shalom, everybody. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.